conflict, please welcome Col Bhargava for his speech.
Firstly, I just want to thank you all because it's a very unique group which I can make out. I go a lot of below the one groups, but this is looking very I'm happy to be here. So very challenging thing today for me because this war has got I don't know how many dimensions, and you will keep speaking on this war. That the military, ex-military personnel, and so many. But I think I got some candidates, right? So I was told by Puneet that basically I will focus on how it will affect or is affecting their lives. So practically I'll start that what this war is and who is fighting. It is actually a war between two very irresponsible governments, who don't care for the even though they don't know. Trump being Trump. Not only that he's Trump, he also doesn't have to contest again as a president. So he's not concerned. So he doesn't even care about Republican being very or being so no consequences for him. Same thing goes for the regime in Iran, which is not accountable to its own people. They were not doing a great job and they were getting 25,000, 30,000 people just because. So it is not between, I would say, Iran and the US as such, but this is a war between two very irresponsible regimes who don't care about their own people, and obviously they don't care about anyone else. We see it here. That Trump has made it very clear. Best thing about Trump is he doesn't do any pretenses. He says what he says. And the world has to understand this. The world has to understand, specifically Australia. Now, it is affecting us. We all are saying that the first we see fuel prices have gone up. If fuel prices have gone up, we are using our cars every day. So that is apparent to anyone. Even small teenager who is driving a car or hospital. But something deeper is that is this going to continue? And my understanding is it is going to. Because it is not that Hormuz Strait is blocked so that the supply of coming prices are up. Prices will remain up because the infrastructure where it is being produced is damaged to great extent. And the confidence and the market which was doing all these things that is damaged. Fuel, like in other wars, it doesn't affect us much because it is being fought between two, defense forces, putting designs on each other and all. This war is not about what is happening in the countries. It is about that it is doing something in the interactive arena. Stopping a product which affects every corner of the world. The whole world is dependent on it. And it is not about our vehicles. The plastic bottles, which has been almost, it all comes from that oil. And so many important things we see around us are byproduct of this process. So everything will get affected, and is getting affected. Especially Australia. I want to come to Australia. Australia is a country of immigrants. So one of the main things which activity in immigrants is go home every year. It is going to get expensive. We all, either our parents are coming here, friends are coming here, or we are going here. So it is not like COVID that, okay, can't go because the flights are stopped. Flights will be there, but will become expensive. And expensive, very expensive. So it is going to affect us this way. Now, apart from that, from the defense point of view, I say, and I have been saying this since the time I came to Australia. I even had a chat with Brigadier General, who was the brigade market, for the brigade, 13 brigade, and when I spoke to him, he was very surprised. And actually, he knew it was surprised. Australia is practically defenseless. When it comes to modern warfare, we do not have capability to launch missiles. We do not have capabilities to stop missiles. Nothing. Zero. Almost zero. Especially indigenous. Nothing. Drone technology here is mostly connected to leisure activities, traveling, music, entertainment, and all. Not from defense. They are basically dependent and thinking that we are okay because somebody will come and save us. That has been shattered by Trump National Park. I don't know whether you heard his today's speech or not. He's told very clearly, we are not taking oil from Hormuz Strait. We got enough. Anyone who needs, the countries whose oil is coming from there, go and get it. Go and get it. बोलते हैं कि दुनिया जाए तेल लेने. Practically, Trump has said this.
He also said that generate your own oil.
Obviously,
Yeah, if you have, generate your own or get it your own.
Exactly. And now, this war has given an idea to people who can block natural geographic features that we can do. What is happening now actually is not something abnormal. What was happening for the last 50 years was abnormal. Human history has always been for war. So we who are in 50s here, we lived in one of the most peaceful epoch in the world history. Most peaceful. It's very difficult to say that 50, 60 years, at least what we know. Even if local wars, people try to study the same state, fighting against each other. So there was a normalization thinking, there are some international movements, okay, nothing water, nobody will touch this, nobody will do that. That myth has been shattered nicely. And now it has traveled world over, everybody will get that idea. So the crux of the story is, countries need to be self-reliant. COVID and this thing has told us two things. What is, जो हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं हमारे पिताजी कहते थे कि पैसा गन और विद्या गन. Whatever you have, knowledge which you remember and money which you got to pocket are the only real things. Somewhere else, in clouds, in some dataware, sorry, you won't have it. So practically the aim that countries, whether it is India or Australia, will have to think over this strategy that despite any war or any, breaking supply chain, any kind of thing, this happened in the last 5 years twice. It can happen twice in the next 2 years or 3 years, or maybe not for the next 10 years. But you cannot take it for granted. So what are your basic needs? And when I'm saying basic needs are not military, which last time went into short term when COVID happened. Essential survival things, whether it is your fuel, whether it is your energy, whether it is your defense, you have to be self-reliant to the extent you can. This has to be understood by the generations who are coming now, our kids, that probably their times will be more difficult than we have. So their times for eat, drink and be married may well be over. So they have to get up and they have to start nation building to such an extent. So this is kind of a wake-up call. And I'm telling you the long kind of understanding. Human memory is very short. We have all forgotten what was happening in Corona. Nobody is now keeping those masks or washing hands or all. Because Corona was something which was not created by the human being. It was created by somebody in nature, may not happen. So war is something which we all done, and this is given a great incentive to people who are war that they can get rid of this. So this is I'm telling you not from only military point of view, geostrategy concern. The biggest sufferer in this whole war will be countries who had become dependent on the US. We may be thinking Trump's popularity is going down. It is not. I don't think so. Common Americans are happy. He's got them the biggest oil reserve in the world without firing a single bullet. Every common American knows this. Venezuela. And that's what people are saying that the USA should have done this 50 years earlier. It was next door. Why were they wasting the resources in the Middle East? And creating so much of hurt for everyone. Venezuela was enough for them to say it is the biggest oil reserve in the world. And when we tell the common Americans that we have destroyed Iran, was saying that to America, or we have told NATO, actually the common Americans were never happy with NATO, European countries. Because when you listen to some of the commentators, they used to say, we always go and rescue the job. So it was not taken kindly. You must have heard in a lot of movies dialogue that American veteran going to France and being asked a passport and then saying, oh, when I came last time here, there was a passport. They always talk to the Normandy beach.
Yes.
So that was the thing. And now with specifically European countries denying USA when they thought, hell, it will never go down well in the economy. So Trump or no Trump, Europe is going to pay very high. Because for them, as for India, this Hormuz trade is a very tender ground. They cannot survive without gas, without oil, because their weather is so hard. They have become dependent. Those days are gone, like Vikings, they will wear those skins and move around. In India, people can remain without artificial means. That's why we have social population. So Europeans cannot. Europeans did not decrease poverty. Their poor was vanished. Just imagine if Mumbai and Delhi and Calcutta would have snow for 3 to 6 months in a year. What will happen? Either people who are in slums will move out from there, or they will die. So those harsh weathers do not allow the poor people to survive. And without gas energy today, whole Europe is lost. You have money, but you can't buy it. Or somebody don't. Or you buy it very expensive. So this is the ramifications for the world. For if we are interested in India specifically. Okay. So for India, it is a very serious issue. Fuel is our, again, I mean, low fuel is nothing. And our energy consumption requirement is so high. So because of what shortages we are seeing in India are not because that we don't have enough production in the last 10 years or because we have increased our consumption by the common people. Right? Yes. So, yes. So, and a housewife, a little girl, 20, 21, 22, who started cooking on gas, will not go back to it. It's not easy. Mummy uski turant chali jayegi, I chali jayegi, but that girl is over once. So it is a problem. But for us, the solution is negotiations. The cost will increase because if tomorrow Trump moves out from there and Iran gets a deal that okay, they can put some toll on that straight, you will have to pay the rest. Holland, and they can't blame it. Holland has done it for 100 years. Yeah, we should have grown very recently there. So a lot of countries have done this. So that way India will have to do multiple things. Firstly, increase their own energy resources. But the fact is, oil is not something which you can get. You can have it, you have it. You don't have it, you don't have it. What about solar? Solar. So solar energy, the problem is not with the static energy. If you need for this room, it is static, you can have solar. But what about the mobile? You can have battery cars. The problem as a defense strategist is how does your cannon, how does your department, how does your heavy industry equipment move? That power can only be generated through the nuclear will look after against static things. You cannot have mobile in cars. So those things are there. So we have to do whatever can be transferred to alternate resources that can be quick, and for rest negotiating. Like anything you can do on it. Even if you produce electricity, you can have induction. This thing with electricity has its own ramification, production. We can have. We already have a lot of IT projects. How many more we can have? Solar is there, but unless there is some, and again, for solar also we are dependent on China. It's not necessarily.
Tata is the second largest producer of solar panels in India.
Yeah, China. Yeah, so I'm not saying that nothing is happening, but for many, especially the emerging battery industry, we do not have this kind of thing. But one good thing which may come out of this whole thing is that world will now strive more. Because obviously there is a crisis. So alternative energy will become the, so if you invest in shares, so I'm not a financial advisor, by the way, but that's a good option, you know, because I'm sure in coming years, like for Australia, solar energy is a big option, wind energy is a big option, hydrogen we don't have, coal we have, but we don't know use it. In this case.
That's why it's going to India. Coal is going to India. Lucky.
Exactly, and India has, again, it's one of the largest coal things. So this is the ramification very, what I see in near future and maybe in a little long future, this war. Apart from the normal missile impact and now, if we talk about the weaponry, then it can be very different topic. But ultimately, yesterday also I was in discussion with military groups, so people are saying game changer, that home game changer is Israel. No. Game changer was and is and will always remain boots on ground. You can destroy a country using missile, you can destroy a country using drones, but you cannot rule a country without boots. You physically have to march.
That only the flare up is coming because US Army, they are planning to put on
And that will bring into focus technology for creating robots or drones who can monitor police patrols. That you cannot have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 soldiers manning streets, but you have robots. Watch TV over.
Shoot.
Yeah,
The robots will
so we can, I mean, you can do it why not? You have, say for example, in Perth, you have somebody, 50,000 drones all over, telling people to do what not to do, and if you don't do, get shot. You don't need people around. So that technology, who will be able to rule those skies, can manage. Or instead of, like, robots are still not, I don't think this, till then we don't have any robotic which actually can walk on.
Okay.
Yeah, but 4 wheels and 4 forers and all.
4 legs, dog, bomb dogs.
But these are, I'm not saying that these are not concerned now, but it is, you know, like any sci-fi, nothing is impossible. So ultimately, what governs is the equilibrium of power in the world.
So
That has,
capturing a country will only be possible when the soldiers won't.
capturing a country now will be not that possible because capturing a country will need a lot of brutal force to be used. In past also, people who used absolutely brutal force were only able to capture it. Like whether it was Islam or Genghis Khan or Hitler. Otherwise, you cannot actually control. And with today's population level, say for example, today somebody has to take a case to capture India, you need to be millions. And that, why that cannot happen, or I mean, it should not happen, cannot happen in Arab. Why it should not happen? Because today everything can be captured. Video, camera, what we are doing now. And that goes. So when that, what happened in Hitler's, this thing, nobody knew it. So nobody knew what Genghis Khan did. They know, but they're not seeing the picture. But when today you see one Maisani getting shot in Iran, or you know, 4 people, other parts of the world start reacting. So that is connected. This technology also gets, and that when you get visual to that brutality, then people who are suffering, they also unite. People who are sitting outside, they also unite. So the perpetrator is basically alone. That's why even China today cannot afford to give that all. Maybe what they are next year. So that's in a nutshell.